Hey guys! So for today's lesson, I'm going to teach you guys how to conjugate the verb hada in the present tense. And the reason why I want to start off with this verb is because hada is actually a verb that is very commonly used in the Korean language. And once you guys know how to conjugate this verb and use it correctly, I think you guys will be able to pick up a lot of phrases that are used in the Korean language. So let's get started. So to start off, hada is the verb to do, and it is actually conjugated a little bit differently than other verbs. So in the next videos, I'll teach you guys how other verbs are conjugated, but for today, we are going to learn how to conjugate hada in the present tense. So there are three different ways that you can conjugate this verb in the present tense. The first way would be the high formality, which is the most polite and formal type of way. The second way would be the low formality, which would be the informal but also polite type of way. And then the last way would be the casual formality, which we also call 반말. So to start off, all verbs have ta at the end. So when you conjugate a verb, you're going to take the ta part off, and now you're going to look at the syllable before and conjugate based off of what the syllable looks like. So what does this mean? So in the highest formality, when you're conjugating the verb, look at whether or not the syllable ends in a consonant or a vowel. If the syllable ends in a consonant, then all you're going to do is add 씁니다. However, if this syllable ends in a vowel, then you're going to add the pi읍 and then 니다. So in this case, because ha ends in a vowel, we're going to put the pi읍 at the bottom, so it's going to be 합니다. So in the present tense, in the highest formality, we're going to use 합니다. Now for the lower formality, usually verbs would be conjugated as 아요 or 어요, but in this specific case, it's 해요. So for 하다, the lower formality conjugation is 해요. Now finally, for the casual formality, which is also 반말, we would usually conjugate the verb in a or 어, but for the 하다 verb, it's just 해. So again, to wrap it up, the highest formality is going to be 합니다, lower formality is going to be 해요, and the most casual formality is going to be 해. So the reason why I wanted to teach you guys about this specific verb before telling you guys about other verbs is because this verb is actually very special. What do I mean by this? Well, if there is a noun that describes an action or behavior and is combined with the hada verb, then the noun becomes a verb. So let me show you guys what I mean. So actually, there were two words that I wanted to teach you guys in today's lesson. They were thank you and I am sorry. They are both used very commonly in everyday language, and they also use the verb hada. So let's go over how to say thank you first. So in English, when we say thank you, there is the object you in the expression. However, in Korean, unlike the English language, there are many times when we don't put the object, which would be you in this case, in the expression because it is actually very easily implied. So in Korean, we would say 감사합니다, which means thank you. And this is a combination of 감사, which is appreciation, and 합니다, which is the highest formality of the present tense conjugation form of the verb 하다. And because I taught you guys how to conjugate the hada verb in three different ways, we can also say 감사해요, and we can also say 감사해, which all mean thank you. So although 감사해요 and 감사해 are the correct forms of conjugation, we rarely use these two in the Korean language. So instead of using 감사해 and 감사해요, we would use the word 고맙다, which is another way to say thank you. And in the casual form, you'd say 고마워, and in the lower formality, you would say 고마워요, and in the highest formality, you would say 고맙습니다. And then when you compare 고맙습니다 and 감사합니다, 감사합니다 is the most formal. So when you're talking to the elderly or someone of high importance or somebody who is your boss, then you would most likely want to use 감사합니다. But these two words mean the same thing and they are both used as thank you. So now let's go on to learn how to say I'm sorry in Korean. This would be 죄송합니다, which is a combination of 죄송, which is to apologize, and 합니다, which is the highest formality conjugation of the verb 하다 in the present tense. So now going on to the lower formality, we would say 죄송해요, and then the most casual way would be 죄송해. So sometimes we would use 죄송해요, but we rarely use 죄송해. Rather, we would use 미안해, which comes from 미안하다, which also means I'm sorry. So to conjugate 미안하다, we would say 미안합니다 in the highest formality, 미안해요 in the lower formality, and 미안해 in the casual formality. And to compare 죄송합니다 and 미안합니다, 죄송합니다 is more formal than 미안합니다. So that was it for today's lesson. I hope that was very useful to your Korean studies, and I hope to see you guys again very soon. Bye!